is the identity of the prototype. Currently in the community, there are two big theories going around. One, that the prototype is Rich, and two, that the prototype is the founder of Playtime Co., Elliot Ludwig. Now, there is valid proof for both of them, and I'll go over that proof in a second. However, I will say that Elliot Ludwig is far more likely to be the prototype over Rich. Now, you may be asking, how is Elliot more likely than Rich to be the prototype? Well, let's look at the proof for both Elliot and Rich being the prototype. For Rich being the prototype, the current evidence is that Rich seemed to care for the orphans that were being experimented on, just like the prototype, and we don't know what Rich's current fate is in the game, with his last tape not really telling us much as to where he was when the prototype was around. For Elliot being the prototype, the current evidence is that Elliot seemed to have died around the same time the prototype was made. They both seem to care for the orphans deeply, they both really hate Harley Sawyer, they both seem to have somewhat similar motivations, and they both seem to have a connection to Poppy. That last point that I brought up seems to heavily hint at Elliot being the prototype rather than Rich. This is because near the end of Chapter 4, right after the Doughy boss fight, the second to last VHS tape in the chapter can be found, the untitled tape. In this tape, there is one specific line from Poppy that sticks out from the rest.
I wish you were here, Dad. I could really use one of your talks right about now. You'd know what to say. When you were running this place, you always knew what to say.
This line in particular seems to pretty much confirm the fan theory that the person who was turned into Poppy is Elliot Ludwig's daughter. Since the prototype also seems to have a deep connection to Poppy and some relation to Poppy's origins, this all seems to really point towards Elliot Ludwig being the prototype. Also, as some of the people in the Poppy Playtime community have brought up, in the prototype speech to Poppy at the end of Chapter 4, he sounds like a disappointed father talking to his daughter, which, if the prototype is Elliot Ludwig, would literally be a disappointed father talking to his daughter.